Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into a topic that's, well, it's been a huge point of discussion, sometimes contention, really, in digital assets: regulation. For a long time, it's felt like this wall, a barrier stopping wider use. But what is? What if that regulation isn't a barrier? What if it's actually like a carefully built bridge? A bridge to something genuinely new and exciting in finance. So our mission today is to unpack a really critical new development that's a recent passage of the Genius Act. People are calling it a turning point, especially, it seems, for stablecoins. We want to explore why it's getting so much buzz and specifically what it means for a platform called Metal Blockchain. We'll try to distill the key insights from the analysis out there, really understand what this means for the future of digital finance.
Indeed. Yeah, for years, this regulatory uncertainty, it's been probably the single biggest hurdle, particularly for institutions wanting to get involved with digital assets. The crypto world, the whole ecosystem, has really been asking for one thing above all else: clarity. Just clarity. And the Genius Act, well, it aims to provide exactly that. It offers a legal framework trying to balance that innovation impulse with, necessary oversight.
Okay, so what does all this actually mean for you listening? Maybe you're just curious about where finance is heading, or you're prepping for a meeting, or you want to get a quick handle on these complex ideas. We're going to explore how this new legislation could really kickstart a new era for digital assets. And we'll highlight why a platform like Metal Blockchain seems, well, uniquely positioned to benefit from these new rules of the road. So let's unpack this. What exactly is the Genius Act, and why is it such a big deal specifically for stablecoins?
Well, what's fascinating here, I think, is that the Genius Act isn't just some broad, vague regulation. At its heart, it's really designed to bring stablecoins into a clear, regulated space. And just quickly, for anyone maybe newer to this, stablecoins are those cryptocurrencies designed to hold a stable value, usually pegged to something like the US dollar. So the Act gives them this legal framework. It balances the innovation, like we said, with oversight. It offers the kind of precision the industry's been asking for. We're talking specific standards for reserves, independent audits, clear rules on how they're issued, and defined ways for people to redeem them. This isn't just vague clarity. It's like real precise legal scaffolding, which means, traditional players, banks, credit unions, fintechs, they can finally start integrating stablecoins, knowing exactly what they're dealing with that minimizes their risk, especially on the balance sheet.
Yeah, that level of detail, reserves, audits, that's absolutely crucial for the traditional finance world, definitely. But here's where it gets really interesting for me. How does Metal Blockchain and its own stablecoin, the Metal Dollar, that's XMD, right? How do they fit into this new picture? Why are they positioned to benefit so much from this specific act?
Right, and this brings up a really important point. Metal Blockchain wasn't just, built hoping regulation might come along someday. It was apparently designed from the very beginning with compliance, transparency, and regulatory alignment basically as core principles. Its fundamental structure, the way it's built, it includes deep integration of identity protocols, know your customer, KYC checks, anti-money laundering, AML features.
Right, it's the standard stuff banks need to do, verifying identity, preventing illicit funds.
Exactly, those critical checks. And Metal also has this unique permissioned subnet framework. Think of that like a private club within the bigger blockchain system. Only approved members get in and transact.
Oh, okay. So controlled access.
Precisely, which is exactly what regulated financial institutions need for security and control. So the Genius Act essentially lays out a clear legal path for stablecoins like XMD to operate properly within the U.S. financial system. It basically validates Metal Blockchain's proactive long-game approach.
That is impressive, seeing that kind of foresight actually pay off. But building a platform with that level of compliance right from the start, that must have had its own challenges, surely. Were there trade-offs, maybe, initial speed or flexibility compared to projects that were maybe less focused on rules early on?
That's a fair question. Yeah, you're right. Building for compliance from day one, it often does mean a more, let's say, deliberate development process. It can be slower at the beginning, certainly less Wild West than some of the early crypto projects we saw. So the trade-off is often that immediate agility versus long-term stability and being ready for institutions. But that upfront investment, putting in the robust frameworks, the security, making sure it can meet regulatory demands, it means Metal Blockchain isn't really playing catch-up now. They've already built the foundation. And the Genius Act is now effectively accelerating their path to wider adoption in the regulated financial world.
Okay, so beyond Metal Blockchain's specific position, what does this clear legal foundation mean more broadly? for institutional adoption across the whole financial system. Does this act also maybe affect other types of digital assets, or perhaps create challenges for stablecoins that haven't built with this kind of foresight?
Well, with this clear legal basis, yes, we can definitely expect a significant jump in interest from regulated financial institutions more generally. It absolutely sets a new benchmark for what compliant actually means in this space. For Metal blockchain, this translates pretty directly into, well, increased trust in XMD. It opens doors to expanding into traditional banking environments, deeper integrations with fintechs, payments providers. It also really boosts their credibility for deploying blockchain applications, both public and private, even potentially for custom blockchains designed for specific financial institutions. If you connect that to the bigger picture, it means XMD can really shift from being just a promising innovation to becoming a genuinely trusted financial instrument. But you hit on a critical point there. This act likely does create a new competitive dynamic. Those stablecoins that haven't prioritized such, robust, auditable compliance, they might face pretty significant hurdles now. It could very well drive a kind of flight to quality. Institutions will now have clear guidelines on what to look for, which effectively challenges the less compliant options to either adapt quickly or potentially face becoming obsolete.
Wow, that's a powerful shift. Really creates a strong incentive for innovation within the regulatory lines, doesn't it? To sort of reshape how we think about regulation. The good regulation, well-designed regulation, can actually speed up innovation, not just hinder it.
Absolutely. And connecting this back to the bigger picture again, the Genius Act isn't just, say, a win for lawmakers or for specific companies like Metal. It really demonstrates powerfully that the U.S. is willing to engage constructively, thoughtfully with digital asset innovation. The fact that platforms like Metal blockchain were built from the start with this laser focus on these critical bits, the identity checks, the AML, those secure permission frameworks, it shows remarkable foresight. And that foresight is truly paying off now. This is really what allows an asset like XMD to move beyond just being a cool concept to becoming a truly reliable, integrated financial tool for major institutions.
Yeah, it's genuinely fascinating to think how this could really open the door. Widespread institutional trust, expansion into the regulated banking world, seamless integration with the fintech and payment systems we already use. It could even, as you said, boost credibility for tailor-made blockchains for the big financial players.
And this brings up, I think, an important question for you, for our listener. Given that smart regulation, like the Genius Act seems to be, can create this vital bridge, linking traditional finance and blockchain innovation, providing those foundational pieces that banks, credit unions, fintechs, they've all been asking for. How quickly do you think we'll actually start seeing a widespread shift towards compliant stablecoins really reshaping our daily financial transactions? What parts of your own financial life might be touched by this future, maybe sooner than you think?
That's a really thought-provoking question to leave everyone with. We certainly hope this deep dive has given you a clear, maybe more nuanced picture of this really significant development and its potential ripple effects right across the world of digital finance.